November 2022. FTX, the world's second largest cryptocurrency exchange, collapsed in less than a week. $32 billion in customer funds. Gone. Not hacked. Not a technical failure. Not a market crash. Stolen. The founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF to the crypto world, went from $26 billion net worth, second largest Democratic donor, featured on magazine covers as the next Warren Buffett, to criminal fraud conviction, 25-year prison sentence, complete disgrace in 9 months. But here's what makes this breakdown worth studying. This wasn't new. Every element of FTX's fraud had been done before. Commingling customer funds, using customer money for risky bets, creating fake assets to inflate balance sheets, lying to investors and regulators. The playbook was old. What was new was the wrapper. Cryptocurrency, innovation, disruption, effective altruism. The lies were ancient. The branding was modern. And it worked. For a while. I'm Tony, and this is the Breakdown Economy, where we examine failures to reveal the patterns you need to recognize. Today, how FTX proved that fraud is still fraud, even when it's dressed up in blockchain technology, and why regulatory arbitrage always ends the same way. To understand how spectacular this fraud was, you need to understand what FTX claimed to be. FTX presented itself as a cryptocurrency exchange, basically a stock market for digital assets. Legitimate exchange model. 1. Customer deposits crypto or cash. 2. Exchange holds funds in custody, separately, safely. 3. Customer trades on the platform. 4. Exchange charges trading fees, revenue model. 5. Customer can withdraw anytime, key principle. Customer funds are segregated. The exchange is a custodian, not an owner. Think of it like a stock brokerage. When you deposit $10,000 at Schwab or Fidelity, they hold it for you. They don't invest it in their own bets. They don't loan it to their sister company. It's your money, they're just the custodian. That's the basic trust model of any exchange. Your funds are segregated, protected, untouchable. FTX violated every single element of this model. But first, let's look at how they presented themselves. FTX launched in 2019, founded by Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Wang. The pitch was slick. We're the safe, regulated crypto exchange, not like those sketchy offshore platforms. We work with regulators. We have institutional-grade risk management. We're bringing crypto to Wall Street. FTX marketing. Best practices in security. Industry-leading compliance. Customer funds are safe, regulated and transparent, and they backed it up with credibility signals, celebrity endorsements, Tom Brady, equity stake, plus spokesperson, Gisele Bündchen, ambassador, Steph Curry, commercials, Larry David, Super Bowl ad, 30 million. Major sponsorships, FTX Arena, Miami Heat Stadium, 135 in naming rights, F1 racing team partnerships, League of Legends team sponsorships, Coachella, esports events, blue chip investors, Sequoia Capital, Temasek, Singapore Sovereign Wealth, SoftBank, Tiger Global, Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Total funding raised, $1.8 billion peak valuation, $32 billion. These weren't naive retail investors. These were sophisticated institutional investors with armies of due diligence analysts. They all missed it. Or they didn't look hard enough. Now let's talk about SBF, because the founder mythology was critical to the fraud. Sam Bankman-Fried cultivated a specific image, the eccentric genius aesthetic. Slept on a beanbag at the office, drove a Toyota Corolla, despite billions. Messy hair, shorts, and t-shirts. I don't care about money, I care about impact. The effective altruism narrative. I'm making billions to give it all away. Earn to give philosophy, committed to donating wealth to charity. Positioned as ethical billionaire. The regulatory savior. Testified before Congress on crypto regulation. Met with SEC officials regularly. Positioned FTX as the regulated exchange. Lobbied for industry standards. This was deliberate. Every element of this persona was designed to telegraph: I'm not like the other crypto bros. I'm responsible, ethical, working with the system, not against it. He became the second largest donor to Democratic causes in 2022, over $40 million in political contributions, all of it bought with customer money he was stealing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's look at how the fraud actually worked. All right, so let's break down the fraud step by step. Because this wasn't one scam, it was multiple interconnected frauds running simultaneously. First, understand the structure. FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange, customer-facing. Alameda Research, a crypto trading firm, SBF's hedge fund. Officially, these were separate companies. In reality, same ownership, same management, same bank accounts. Here's how a legitimate setup would work. Legitimate structure. Exchange holds customer funds separately. Trading firm uses its own capital. Complete separation. Chinese wall. No commingling of funds. FTX structure. Exchange held customer funds. Sort of. Alameda had unlimited access to those funds. No separation whatsoever. Systematic theft from bankruptcy filings and trial testimony. Here's what actually happened. Step 1. Customer deposits $1 billion at FTX. Step 2. FTX should hold it in segregated custody. Step 3. Instead, FTX secretly transfers funds to Alameda Research. Step 4. Alameda uses customer money for risky crypto trades, venture capital investments, real estate purchases, political donations, personal loans to executives. Step 5. FTX balance sheet. Shows customer funds exist. They don't. This is called commingling customer funds. It's illegal in every financial system on Earth. Banks can't do it. Brokerages can't do it. Exchanges can't do it. FTX did it systematically, at scale, for years. But wait, it gets worse. Alameda was making risky bets with customer money. Some worked, many didn't. By 2022, Alameda had billions in losses. So how did they hide this on FTX's balance sheet? They created a fake asset, FTT, FTX token. Here's how this worked. 1. FTX created its own cryptocurrency. FTT2. FTX and Alameda held massive amounts of FTT3. FTX claimed FTT was worth billions. 4. Used FTT as collateral to cover Alameda's losses. What the balance sheet showed? Assets, $10 billion, including $5 billion in FTT tokens we created. Liabilities, $8 billion, net, solvent, reality. Assets, $5 billion, FTT tokens are worthless. Liabilities, $8 billion, net, insolvent by $3 billion. Think about this. They created a token out of thin air, assigned it whatever value they wanted, used it to claim solvency. This is the exact fraud Enron used in the early 2000s. Create a special purpose vehicle, inflate its value, hide losses. Same playbook. Different wrapper. The only difference? Enron used shell companies and energy contracts. FTX used cryptocurrency and blockchain. The fraud was identical. Now, here's how they got away with this for so long. Location. FTX was headquartered in the Bahamas. Not New York, not London, not anywhere with strong financial regulation. The Bahamas. Why? Regulatory arbitrage benefits? Minimal financial oversight? No SEC registration required? Weak customer protection laws? Minimal audit requirements? Easy to obscure ownership structures? SBF and executives lived in a $40 million penthouse in the Bahamas, funded by customer money, in a jurisdiction that barely regulated them. But here's the clever part. FTX claimed they were working with regulators and building a regulated exchange. They testified to Congress, met with the SEC, lobbied for crypto regulation. All of it was theater. They were headquartered offshore specifically to avoid real regulation while claiming to embrace it. Classic regulatory arbitrage. We support regulation, just not in any jurisdiction that can actually enforce it. And sophisticated investors bought it. Sequoia Capital literally wrote a glowing profile titled, "Sam Bankman-Fried has a savior complex, and maybe you should too." They invested $150 million. It's now worth zero. So how did it all fall apart? November 2nd, 2023, CoinDesk publishes an article examining Alameda Research's balance sheet. Divisions in Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire blur on his trading titan Alameda's balance sheet. The article reveals Alameda's assets are mostly FTT tokens, the tokens FTX created. November 6th, Changpeng Zhao, CZ, CEO of Binance, FTX's biggest competitor, announces Binance will sell all its FTT holdings. This triggers a death spiral. 1. Binance sells FTT, FTT price drops. 2. FTT price drops, Alameda's assets decrease. 3. Alameda looks insolvent, people panic. 4. Customers try to withdraw from FTX, bank run begins. 5. FTX can't meet withdrawals because money is at Alameda. 6. Alameda lost it on bad trades, money is gone. November 8th, FTX pauses customer withdrawals. November 9th, Binance announces potential bailout acquisition, then backs out after 24 hours of due diligence. 24 hours of looking at the books and they said, absolutely not. November 11th, FTX files for bankruptcy. SBF resigns as CEO. November 12th, new CEO, brought in for bankruptcy, says, never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information. This from the guy who handled Enron's bankruptcy. He's seen corporate fraud. He's seen accounting disasters. And he said FTX was worse. Total customer losses, over $8 billion. Estimated total fraud, over $32 billion, including inflated valuations. All right, so FTX was fraud. That's established. But why does this matter beyond cryptocurrency? Because FTX demonstrated 3 patterns that transcend crypto and apply to any emerging industry. Pattern number 1, innovation as cover for fraud. Let's be clear, blockchain technology is not fraud, but FTX used blockchain as cover for traditional fraud. The pitch was always, this is new, it's different. Traditional rules don't apply because this is innovation. No. What FTX claimed, we're using blockchain and cryptocurrency, new rules needed. What FTX actually did, stole customer funds, old fraud, used fake assets to inflate balance sheet, Enron fraud, lied to investors about financials, securities fraud, commingled funds, illegal since banking laws existed. Every single element was old-school financial fraud. This pattern repeats constantly. Theranos claimed revolutionary blood testing technology. Reality, faked test results, used traditional machines, lied to investors. WeWork claimed tech company disrupting real estate. Reality, real estate company with tech branding and fraudulent financials. Nikola Motors claimed revolutionary electric charge hydrogen trucks. Reality, faked working prototypes, lied about technology. The pattern, we're doing X, which is innovative, so normal rules don't apply. When someone says traditional oversight doesn't work because we're disruptive, what they often mean is, don't look too closely at what we're actually doing. Innovation is real. It exists. It's valuable. But innovation doesn't exempt you from basic honesty about where customer money is, what your financials actually show, whether your technology works as claimed. If someone's innovation story requires you to suspend basic due diligence, that's not innovation, that's a scam. Pattern number 2, regulatory arbitrage always ends badly. FTX chose the Bahamas specifically to avoid U.S. financial regulation. This is called regulatory arbitrage, shopping for the jurisdiction with the weakest rules, legitimate reasons to operate internationally, closer to customers, local market expertise, time zone coverage, currency considerations. Red flag reasons. U.S. regulations are too strict. We need regulatory flexibility. Innovation moves faster than regulation. Headquartered somewhere with minimal oversight, And here's the pattern we see repeatedly. Phase 1. Set up in regulatory haven. We're building compliant infrastructure. We're working with local regulators. Phase 2. Grow rapidly with weak oversight. No audits, no customer protection, no separation of funds. Phase 3. Something goes wrong. Customer funds missing. No regulatory recourse. Investors discover fraud too late. Phase 4. Collapse and lawsuits. Founders arrested. Customers lose money. Jurisdiction provides no protection. Mt. Gox, Bitcoin exchange, Japan. Lacks oversight. 850,000 Bitcoin stolen, lost. Customers never fully recovered funds. BitConnect, Ponzi scheme, unclear jurisdiction. No regulatory oversight, $2+ billion fraud, founders disappeared. Quadriga CX, Canadian exchange. Minimal oversight, founder allegedly dies, takes passwords, $190 million customer funds gone. The lesson: if a financial company is headquartered in a jurisdiction specifically to avoid regulation, that's not innovative regulatory flexibility. That's a choice to operate without oversight. And companies that don't want oversight usually have something to hide. Pattern number 3. Celebrity endorsements due diligence. Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen, Steph Curry, Larry David. They all promoted FTX, got paid millions, some in equity. And when FTX collapsed, customers assumed, well, if Tom Brady trusted them, it must have been safe. No. Hey, I love celebrities, but they are paid to promote, not to audit. What celebrity endorsement means? They paid me to say nice things. I read the script they gave me. I may or may not use this product. What people think it means? I personally verified this is safe. I did financial due diligence. I stake my reputation on this being legitimate. Sequoia Capital, one of the most prestigious VC firms in the world, invested $150 million in FTX. They wrote a love letter profile about SBF. After FTX collapsed, they had to write this down to zero and issue a statement, we were wrong. If Sequoia, with armies of analysts, finance experts, and due diligence teams, missed this fraud, why would Tom Brady catch it? The pattern, social proof, due diligence, everyone else is doing it, is not a risk assessment. Smart people invested is not validation. Celebrities endorse it means nothing about safety. Madoff had celebrity investors, didn't prevent Ponzi scheme. Theranos had prestigious board members, didn't make technology real. FTX had institutional backing, didn't stop fraud. When evaluating any investment or financial service, ignore the endorsements, ignore the celebrity sponsors, ignore the prestigious investors. Ask the fundamental questions. Can I verify the financials independently? Is this regulated in a real jurisdiction? Can I audit where my money actually is? Do they have third-party verification? What happens if they fail? If you can't answer these, don't invest, no matter who endorsed it. All right, so what do you actually do with this information? Because most of us aren't investing in crypto exchanges. But FTX's patterns apply everywhere. If you're investing or choosing financial services, pay attention to the following. Regulatory arbitrage. We're headquartered in tax haven, weak regulation jurisdiction. U.S. regulations are too restrictive for innovation. We're building our own regulatory framework. Action. If they're avoiding regulation, assume they have something to hide. Complexity, as smokescreen. Our business model is too complex to explain simply. Traditional finance people don't understand this. You need to understand blockchain, AI, or the new tech to get it. Warren Buffett has a rule. Never invest in something you don't understand. If someone can't explain their business in simple terms, either they don't understand it themselves, or they don't want you to understand it. Both are bad. Celebrity to prestige, substituting for substance. Heavy focus on celebrity endorsers. emphasizing prestigious investors more than business fundamentals, name-dropping without financials. Action: ignore all endorsements. Look at audited financials only. Promises of extraordinary returns. We're consistently beating the market. Risk-free high returns. Secret strategy, proprietary algorithm. If returns are too good to be true, they are. Every Ponzi scheme promises exceptional returns. Every fraud claims to have discovered the secret. There are no secrets, just risk. Opacity about custody. Won't clearly explain where customer funds are held. Proprietary security measures we can't disclose. No third-party audits or verification. Action: if you can't verify your money exists separately and safely, don't deposit it. Now here's the new innovation test. When someone pitches innovation, ask 1. What specific problem does this solve? If answer is vague or circular, skeptical. 2. How is this different from existing solutions? If only difference is it's on blockchain, AI, new tech. Skeptical. 3. Can you explain the business model simply? If no, they don't have one or don't want you to know it. 4. What regulatory framework do you operate under? If we're working on it or regulations don't apply. Run 5. Can I independently verify your claims? If no third-party audits or verification, don't trust real innovation can be explained clearly. Real innovation doesn't require you to ignore basic due diligence. Real innovation welcomes scrutiny because it holds up under examination. Fraud requires you to suspend skepticism. Don't ask questions, just trust us. We're innovative. That's not innovation. That's a con. The FTX lesson for regulation. Innovation doesn't need less regulation. It needs appropriate regulation. Customer funds should be segregated. Period. Doesn't matter if it's stocks, commodities, or crypto. Audits should be mandatory. Period. Doesn't matter if the technology is too new to audit. Fraud is fraud. Period. Doesn't matter if it's done with blockchain or spreadsheets. The argument that crypto moves too fast for regulation is nonsense. The fraud FTX committed was illegal under existing laws. They just did it in a jurisdiction that didn't enforce those laws. If we've learned anything from FTX, Theranos, WeWork, and every other innovative fraud, the basics still matter. Customer protection, audited financials, regulated custody. None of that changes because you slap AI or blockchain or disruption on it. Let's talk about where things stand now. November 2023, Sam Bankman-Fried convicted on all 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. March 2024, sentenced to 25 years in prison. Customer recovery. Bankruptcy proceedings ongoing, some funds being recovered. SBF's defense was essentially, I didn't mean to commit fraud. I was just bad at accounting. I made mistakes. The jury didn't buy it. The evidence was overwhelming. Signal messages showing knowledge of fraud. Backdoor in code giving Alameda unlimited access. False statements to investors and lenders. Systematic customer fund theft. This wasn't incompetence. This was fraud. Here's what FTX teaches us about fraud in the innovation economy. Fraud doesn't change. Only the branding does. Stealing customer funds has been illegal for centuries. Creating fake assets to inflate balance sheets has been illegal since Enron. Lying to investors has been illegal since securities law existed. FTX did all of it. But because they did it with cryptocurrency and blockchain and innovation, people assumed the old rules didn't apply. The old rules always apply. Where is my money? Can I verify it independently? Is this regulated by someone who can actually enforce the rules? Do the numbers make sense? FTX collapsed because someone finally asked those questions. $32 billion later. Don't wait until collapse to ask basic questions. Ask them first. This is the Breakdown Economy. I'm Tony. Next week, 23andMe's slow motion collapse. How the DNA company that sold your genetic data to stay alive proved that your data is the product, and the business model was always unsustainable. Subscribe to see the next breakdown before it happens. And if someone pitches you the next big thing that requires you to suspend basic due diligence because innovation, walk away. I'll see you next Thursday.